Hey everybody, Dustin Dale's back here once again. I'm at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, 168th and Dodge, Upper Deck, Funny Bone Comedy Club. You can't miss it. This weekend we got a comic. He's a Funny Bone favorite here. His name is Mark Poulos. He's in town all weekend. If you're not seeing him here, you're probably seeing him on the road with Michael Carbonaro. We'll talk about that as well. But this weekend he's here in Omaha through Sunday. Make sure you come check him out. Welcome, Mark Poulos.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, man. I feel like we're in a tiny Honda right now, driving down the road.
You got us in like a little closet.
You have to squeeze in the corner. Am I the biggest man you've ever had on this show?
I don't want to say that.
There's got to be bigger guys than me than you've had in this corner.
Pretty close.
Tiny corner. But I'm glad to be on the show. I didn't even know I was going to be on, so I'm on.
That's what I do. I just pop in. I just start interviewing people.
So you're like the Michael Moore of Omaha. You just hide in the green room.
Exactly. As soon as someone walks in, hey, let's talk.
Time for an interview. All right, let's talk about comedy.
Now, you're in town this weekend, but you're also on the road doing shows with Michael Carbonaro. How'd you get hooked up with him?
Yeah, so my manager is also the guy who brought the idea to him because he started the Impractical Jokers live tour. So he auditioned, I think it was like 14 comedians, and me and another guy got the job because it's a tough job, I'm not going to lie. You have to do 20 minutes in front of him to warm the crowd up, and it's all ages. Mm-hmm. So you have to do 20 minutes that would play in front of an 8-year-old and an 80-year-old. I mean, it's a huge range. So coming up with that 20 minutes was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my life. Because it's not only does it have to be clean for kids, it has to be funny, like really funny. Like I guess one of the guys was clean and he didn't get one joke, one laugh in like 15 minutes, and they fired him after the show. So I was like, I'm pretty nervous every time I do the tour because I'm like, at any moment he could be like, poof, you're gone.
So before you got on the road with him, was your set kind of like that already, or was it just something you had to adapt?
You know, I always kind of lend myself to the clean writing, like the family writing and stuff, but I still have horrible, filthy jokes that I still like to do, you know, so I enjoy coming to comedy clubs where there's not that much restriction on you and stuff, but it is fun to kind of push yourself in directions to see if you can do things, you know, like I can't think of many comedians that can do 15 minutes in front of children. I mean, it's got to be probably the most difficult thing in the world, so...
So are you also doing 6-year-old birthday parties on the side?
Yes. This Saturday, I'm doing Jim and Jane's 4-year-old twin party down in Council Bluffs. So I'll be dressed as the clown from It, and we'll see how it goes. I mean,
I'm very much looking forward to that.
It's my first one.
For those of you who don't know, Michael Carbonaro, he's a magician. He's got his own show called The Carbonaro Effect. It's on True TV, and he deals with all kinds of magic, but it's like unsurprised.
Practical joke magic.
Yes, that's the better word.
People come to like Best Buy or like a herbal store, and he's the guy helping them, and then he just does weird stuff. He's like, you know, hey, this stuff is really herbal, and then he puts it in a bag and it turns into apples or something, and people are like, what? Like, it's really funny to watch.
Were you a big magic fan growing up?
I actually was. When I was a kid, my parents took me to Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And we got free tickets to see Siegfried and Roy. I don't know if you know those guys. They had the Tigers. It didn't turn out well. One of them got eaten by the tiger. So, but still huge fan of magic. Those David Copperfield specials were always. It's like, I'm gonna make an elephant disappear right before the 10 o'clock news. Like, all right. So yeah, I've always been a huge fan. So it's been a fun tour. I mean, I get to go to a lot of cities I've never been to before, picking up a lot of fans, young and old. So it's definitely doing what it's supposed to do. So
do you work in magic into your own set every now and again? Try to do a trick or two?
No, I got nothing. It would be funny if at the end of this interview I'll just slowly slide out of frame, like he's gone.
Now, along with the tour with Michael Carbonaro, you also have a podcast that you do every week as well.
Yes, it's pretty much anywhere a podcast exists. It's called Unbridled Enthusiasm. It started out as a like an extension of my comedy. I would just tell the behind-the-scenes stories, and then had some friends on, and now it's kind of gone off into a weird area. I'm doing like conspiracy theories and parallel universes and a lot of, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Mandela effect. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think so, actually.
I came across it the other day, and apparently there's this thing that people believe that two parallel universes are merging right now. So a lot of our old memories are changing, and people are freaking out about it. So I talk about it all on this week's podcast, Unbridled Enthusiasm. It's called The Mandela Effect. So it's pretty weird stuff, so check it out.
And you also have guests on there, right?
I do from time to time, yeah. Had some pretty big guests. I had Jake Johansson was on. I had Greg Morton. Who was the other guy? I had some... I can't think of his name. Anyways, there's mostly my buddies, but I've had a few. That's always a weird thing when you're working with somebody famous and you're like, any chance you want to come by my hotel at noon tomorrow and just kind of hang out, And then when they're like, yeah, I'm like, oh my God. I have to talk to Jake Johansson for like an hour. What am I going to talk to him about? And that was a funny story because my other mic broke, so we had to use the same mic, and we had to sit next to each other on the sofa. He thought it was a big scam. So, but check it out, Unbridled Enthusiasm. LargeDrunkMan.com is the website. You can get to all of it from there.
I can just picture you sitting next to him, talking, and that's what I think about it. What do you think about it?
The best part was that I had a really cheap microphone at the time, and if there was a fluorescent light on near it, it would buzz into the microphone. So I had to not only sit next to him on the couch, I had to turn the lights off in the room, and he goes, I feel like something's happening here. So, yes. But check out my YouTube channel, too. I'm starting a episodic thing tomorrow called Road Hacks, so check that out.
Yeah, tell me about that Road Hack, and we were chatting a little bit about that before the interview here. What is that show exactly?
Well, it's going to be like a 5-minute thing, and I've spent 16 years on the road as a comedian, just half of it in the beginning trying to live life as a comedian. And so I have these tips, like things you can find, like cheap things, other things on the road that can help you along the way. So I figured, why not, spread it around. So check it out.
One thing that you also add to your act is you play guitars, right?
You
play some instruments?
You know what's funny is I started out as a guitar comic, and I haven't done it in 9 years, and they just cannot get it out of my bio everywhere I go.
That's what I get. I do some research, and it says, he plays a guitar on stage.
I did, and I have close to 30 funny songs that are all horribly mediocre. They're all on SoundCloud if you want to listen to them. I've got big hits like Stripper Mart, and Accident Prone Dad, and tons of great stuff. So check it out, SoundCloud. You can look up all my horrible funny songs.
His name is Mark Poulos. He's in town all weekend long at the Funny Bone Comedy Club, 168th and Dodge, Village Point Mall, Upper Deck, right by the movie theater. You can't miss it. Make sure you come check him out. He's here through Sunday. Mark, thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Please, we need people.
Thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys.